So almost everything that we see day to day is a psyop of some type. The world is not organized in the way that is expressed by mainstream narratives. So, what I mean by that is that there is a certain outcome or there's a certain agenda that is desired, and then there's a narrative that is formed to justify that general reorganization of society, that change that needs to be made. So we can see this play out right now. It looks like the world is actually moving from unipolar to a multipolar power dynamic. And all of the conflict, all of the different negotiations, the war, everything that you see in the media is basically kind of like a distraction because there are powers that are actually doing financial deals behind the scenes to reorganize society, the global economy, into this multipolar operation. Now, that is because some of the countries that are competitors, you might say, with the United States, have built sovereign wealth funds. So, who are these countries? Well, obviously, China is a big player with a $3.5 trillion sovereign wealth fund. The United Arab Emirates with a $2.7 trillion sovereign wealth fund. Singapore, $2 trillion. Norway, $2 trillion. Canada, $2 trillion. America's sovereign wealth fund is not even on the list, but America's wealth is privatized. It's owned by corporations. And those corporations obviously use that wealth and power to negotiate laws that benefit themselves. And that's, why we're in the mess we're in. So in order to, kind of move this country into the next stage, we need to start talking about sovereign wealth. And again, one of the biggest psyops that I always see when people are talking about how do we change policies is how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to tax people enough to pay for these programs? Well, you don't have to tax people. You don't have to increase taxes. In fact, taxes is an option. And I think it's a bad option at this point. Sovereign wealth comes from the resources that are owned by the nation. So if you moved from, like, let's just say in the case of the United Arab Emirates, the resources are obviously the oil. Extracting and processing and distributing oil is a huge revenue generating operation that generates enough revenue to pay for the local infrastructure that pays for things that the government wants done, that the people need to survive, and that normally in the US or in the West is paid for through taxes.